Welcome to the Lakers Pulse podcast. I am your host, Nelson, and with me today I have Merge. What's up, Merge?
What's going on, Nelson?
And with me today I also have Clayton, but I would not allow him to give an intro today because I don't care how he's doing. So let's just get right into the picks. The 76ers traded with the Celtics. They traded the number one pick for the number three pick in this draft, and they also traded uh, uh, a protected first round pick in next year's draft if it falls a Lakers pick in next year's draft if it falls between 2 and 5, right? Am
Yeah,
I on
two
that
and
one?
five.
Yeah. So if it falls out of that range, then it goes to the Sixers, and the Boston Celtics get the 2019 Sacramento pick instead, which has been a controversial trade, and I personally think that the Sixers won that trade, and I think that both of you guys think that they won the trade as well, right?
Yeah, not it. I just think Markel Fultz is too good to trade away.
Yeah, and the Celtics did. So that it's such a Danny Ainge move. I honestly just expected something crazy to happen. Danny Ainge not to take Markel Fultz, and the crazy thing happened. So here we are. But yeah, so now
Yeah,
on the draft is 3 days away. We're all really excited because we want to know these players that we've been watching so much, see where they fall, how they fall, see if our predictions about wings rising in the draft and bigs not being taken as high as they're mocked currently, see if that's right. See if our feelings about players are generally right, and see if they fall in the range where we're comfortable. And if we're not comfortable in that range, then we're just like, what the hell? And some players will slide. So some teams will get value, and that's going to be awesome for them, and bad for the team that reached on some talent that they could have gone later on. But yeah, so let's get this started with the number three overall pick. Since 1 and 2 is pretty well known, one is going to be Markel Fultz, and number two is going to be Lonzo Ball. That's what all the reports, rumors, everything that you can read online. That's what we've been told. That's what we also think is going to happen. Right, guys? Is there any
yeah.
disagreement about that?
I don't see anything.
All right. So let's move on to the number three overall pick. So the Boston Celtics have the number three overall pick, and Merge. Who are you taking if you were the Celtics?
If I am the Celtics, or who they will take, because I have two different opinions.
Who will they take at number three?
I think they take Jason Tatum at 3. I've been hearing a lot of people say that Danny Ainge. Well, first of all, they think that Lonzo, Markel, Tatum, and Jackson are all in the same tier. They're all in that first tier of players. So I think they think that Tatum is a kind of Paul Pierce-like player, and I think that he's also a guy that's he's pretty decently athletic, and he's a guy who is a good defender, but he can't really shoot threes that well, and it seems like a pretty prototypical Danny Ainge pick. I do think Jackson could be an option, but Jackson didn't want to meet with the Celtics, which is probably a big red flag for them. So I think they go Tatum.
Clayton.
I still say Josh Jackson.
Josh,
I just it's a very Ainge pick for me. I know, like, for some reason the latest one is Tatum, but I think why not double down on Jaylen Brown type players? Bring all of them in.
yeah.
And Jaylen Brown, as in guys like 2-3, small ball 4, athletic,
Yeah.
project to defend. Neither can shoot very much. I think Josh Jackson can handle better, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go more with Merge on this one. I think that they go. I think they go Tatum, just because I think that Tatum would actually be a pretty good complement to Jaylen Brown in the future, just because Tatum can play more, probably more forward than Brown can, in my opinion. But I think they can both play a good amount. But that kind of allows Jaylen Brown to guard the better forward, and Tatum also a good defender, so he won't really be a burden on that end. And Jaylen Brown is allowed to be more of the slashy, cutty player, and I think that Tatum's passing potential is actually pretty good. It's not anything outstanding or amazing. It's not as good as Josh Jackson's playmaking potential, but I think that it can be enough to where Tatum is allowed to create for himself, and that kind of frees up Jaylen Brown to kind of cut and get some good looks. Since Jaylen Brown shot with some time to really set his feet down and get all his mechanics in order, I think that it's really good. But I think that it's more off the dribble where Jaylen Brown struggles, in my opinion. I think that Tatum would really take off a load off Jaylen Brown to create so much. I think that Jason Tatum's such a gifted scorer. They can really just give him the ball, and he can find ways to score in isolation type situations, just because he has such a good mid range shot, and he has a pretty good size advantage, so he can really get the shot off. Not as good as like an Ingram or a player like that, but I think that he's proven enough polished footwork. I think that I feel good about that fit, and I think that Boston would be getting a good player. I just at that point, if they're really going to go with Tatum, I kind of wonder if they could kind of get him lower. And if Tatum was really the guy that they traded down to get, then I question their scouting department a lot, because it's pretty crazy.
I do have a feeling this pick might be traded for Jimmy Butler, which is kind of an option, I think. But I think it's more of it's less likely to happen than this drafting straight up. So, yeah.
Well, moving on to the fourth pick in the draft, the Phoenix Suns. Clayton, who are you taking now that Josh Jackson, Markelle Fultz, and Lonzo Ball are off the board?
Well, we'll try and go like unanimous with this, or like try and agree on a certain someone,
Okay.
At least early on.
Yeah.
With Tatum off the board, then I think the Suns pick has to be Josh Jackson. Eric Bledsoe at the point guard, Devin Booker. But the question though is apparently there's the rumor that they do love Isaac.
Yeah.
But the thing is do they take Isaac even though they took Marquise Chris and Dragon Bender last year? Because I don't think Bender's a full-time 5. I think he's still going to have to play quite a bit of 4 just because he's a small guy, like thinner frame.
Yeah.
Do I actually want to change that now, though? I mean, honestly, if I was the Suns, I would take Isaac and then just find a taker for Marquise Chris, because I think he sucks. But but yeah, you know what? I'll go with the rumors of Isaac recently, which is just crazy to believe now that Justin Jackson would slip past that. I mean,
Josh, how dare you?
Whatever, Justin, Josh, they both or whatever.
Wow.
I'm just playing. But what do you guys think?
I think I would personally go Jonathan Isaac, because I love Jonathan Isaac, and the Suns would be getting a great great hairstyle, so that's always great. But you get a great defensive player right off the bat, in my opinion, or at least really good. And with the offense, you have Devin Booker, who's floor spacer, so the floor won't be exactly closed. And with Eric Bledsoe there, I think that there's some potential there to have some good pick and rolls for Isaac, and he definitely showed some offensive prowess, not a ton, not as much as a Tatum, but I think that it's good enough to where you can work with it, and he provides a ton of defensive value, which is really important, especially when you have a guard like Devin Booker who doesn't really play much defense. And yeah, I think with all the recent reports, how they worked him out and all that kind of stuff, I think that's kind of it's kind of making me go more towards Isaac. But I think that if Josh Jackson falls down that far, really, I think that's probably going to be Jackson. So I think I'd go Jackson, if that'd be my prediction more. Merge?
I'm split. I think it can be both, and I think if I'm the Suns, I'd be happy with both. One or the other, obviously, but I think I'm gonna go Isaac. I just believe the rumors, and I've seen a lot of Suns people say that they liked him and he worked out well for them, and I'm gonna I think I'm gonna roll with Isaac, which is crazy because I think Josh is a good player as well, but I just think that the Suns are trying to. I think that they're higher on TJ Warren than most. I mean, than we are. So I think they kind of want to have TJ there at the 3 potentially, and maybe have Isaac at the 4. But then there's the questions of Chris and Bender. But I think you can figure that out. Having, especially in the position they're in, they aren't really. I don't think they're looking for a particular fit. I think the only guy who's really locked in there is Booker. So I think they just go with the best talent available, which is Isaac, in my opinion.
Clayton, so have you made a choice yet?
I'll just make it easy and go Isaac.
Okay.
So I think this is where it gets really interesting is at 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do the Kings try and move up? Do they take oh my word. Do they take the guy that some people stupidly think should be taken at 2?
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox apparently wants to go to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Which is just way too funny. But I think I want to say that they want to go Fox, but honestly, they need a 3 really bad, especially to cover up for Buddy Hield. Daniel's trying to save Jackson right now in the Slack. I can't see Jackson falling past the Kings. It's just sometimes just the talent is just too good. And then at 10, they could just try and get a point guard there, Frank, or if Dennis Smith Jr. for some reason falls.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Josh Jackson. I just think the talent is too good at that point to pass up. Even for the Kings.
Yeah, I honestly think they go Fox, and I think they think Fox is a better player than Jackson.
Maybe.
I think because they were trying to trade up to 2 or 3 to get him.
Yeah.
Reportedly, but I think they go Fox. I think they're dead set on Fox, and Josh Jackson falling is not going to change it, honestly. So I think they go Fox, and they go with a wing or a big man at 10. But yeah, I think Fox.
Yeah, this mock draft is stupid because there's no way that Jackson's going to fall to 6. But I think I'm also going to go with Fox because Jackson, apparently hard worker, really good motor, really wants to win. That's kind of been the thing that most scouts have been talking about. But I just think that after the whole DeMarcus Cousins thing, they really are instituting this culture of like really good young guys that are like really positive and stuff. And I think that Fox passed that test with flying colors from everything that we've heard. That's been one of his biggest strengths. And for a team that had to deal with this like jerk star player in DeMarcus Cousins, I think that they probably want more like the guy that they view as being in that tier or in like a close-ish tier to Josh Jackson. I just think that the whole persona that De'Aaron Fox has, I think that's probably going to will them to draft him at number 5. But Josh Jackson's not falling past 5. I mean, this scenario is absurd.
Yeah, he probably goes to the Suns, but I think Isaac.
I'm kind of leaning towards Isaac, but Clayton, that's I know it's crazy to think that Jackson would fall this far. But yeah, moving on to the 6th pick. Do we really need to argue this, or?
I mean, it's gotta be.
The Magic are thanking everyone that Josh Jackson falls to them. Honestly,
yeah. That would be the way to honestly get Aaron Gordon finally back to the 4.
Yeah,
and did you? I mean, I know he's turned into a bust with a lot of people, but like, if you want to go like all height team, Mario Hezonja at the 2, and then Josh Jackson at the 3, Aaron Gordon at the 4. That's 6'8". You ruined it. You ruined it. Yeah, I mean it's got to be Jackson.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah, Jackson for sure. So number 7.
This is where it gets interesting. This is
Yeah.
really interesting, especially with Isaac off the board.
Yeah, with my guy Jonathan Isaac off the board. Now it's curious to see where the Timberwolves go, and Merge seems so excited that I'm gonna let him do the honors of picking who the Timberwolves take at number 7.
I don't like the Markin and Towns pairing. Honestly, I think they just go with best player available, and they go Dennis Jr.
They have 3 point guards on the roster.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't like the Markin and Towns fit at all. And I don't think Markkinen's a 4. And Towns has had defensive struggles, even though I think he'll figure it out. They really need a 4 who can defend, and there's no one there at this point. I think ideally Isaac is probably still there on Thursday, but if this situation arises, I think they got to just go best player available and go Smith or maybe Monk, but I think Smith is what I would go in the situation.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough for me to really project. I think Larry Markkinen is probably the pick that I think it's probably the most likely move that they do. I wouldn't really be a fan of that fit, but yeah, I mean it would add certainly it would really space the floor, especially if Ricky Rubio is going to be the choice for the starting point guard down the line, or even Kristan, since he can't appear to shoot from everything that's not a layup. So that's really not ideal. So I think that Larry Markkinen provides some floor spacing, and maybe Tibbs can really get him to improve on some kind of aspects on defensive end.
He is going to murder Laurie. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's gonna just yell at him 100 times. Why can't you move your feet? He's like, Coach, I can't because I just can't move. That's kind of his whole problem. So I think Larry's probably the pick that makes the most sense at that point, just because they have a fit at the 4. He's spaced the floor for the point guards, since most of the point guards really can't space it all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And the spacing with Towns and Larry, that's pretty good. So
yeah, that's great spacing.
I kind of like it on the offensive end. So Clayton, who's going to be the pick for the Wolves?
I don't know. I mean, like, if Isaac isn't there, they're probably yelling, because while Laurie's been the guy that's been long picked there, that's not a fit. I don't care what, like, the offense, yeah, it'd look good, but they're bad defensively. Pat has moments, but for the most part, I believe he hasn't been great defensively. He has, he shows great flashes. Wiggins hasn't been good defensively, no matter what anyone says. As John Wooden said, activity does not mean achievement. Levine can't defend. Shabazz Muhammad doesn't defend. The only really good defender that they have are, well, 2, are Chris Dunn, who can't play offense, and Rubio. Rubio is an insanely underrated defender. But my thinking is if they were going to go for an elite shooter last year, they should have gone Jamal Murray
or Buddy.
But now I mean maybe it is. I guess that's like the only really thing to do, unless you're going to go like Malik Monk and then look to move Zach LaVine,
which I think could happen because he's coming. Any of the contract coming up soon.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess just to kind of make it fit, so then there's not 3 different options. I'll go Laurie with Nelson, but if I was them and I was walking away from draft night with Laurie, I'm throwing up, because I'm like, honestly, like a guy that I probably would much rather have, and a guy that I actually dropped on my board today, I'd rather have probably Zach Collins than him. I don't think Collins is going to go that high, obviously, but I think that would be a better fit, at least he projects to be able to play some amount of defense. And people think that he can stretch it out to NBA 3. I'd question that, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be the much better fit, to be honest. That would be the guy who I'd be more comfortable walking away with than Morey, who I don't even like. When you can't do anything but shoot,
Right.
I mean, like literally, he does nothing but shoot. He got 7.2 rebounds, but I mean, like per 40 with Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley per 40 got like 14 rebounds a game per 40. So like, yeah, I would. That's who I'm gonna go with. But I would walk away just pissed. Like that would be where I'd just be like, all right, who we calling the trade?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That would be like, well, I guess might as well renew our talks for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Which apparently they've already talked about today. But.
Right. All right. So now moving on to the 8th pick, which is going to be after that last pick, it's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's the New York Knicks, who have Porzingis as their main core piece and pretty much their only true piece. Apart from that, they have Carmelo, who apparently does not want to stay, and I think that they don't want Carmelo to stay either. So it's kind of just looking for a trade at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded during draft day or before. But yeah, so with the number 8th pick, the Knicks should be going point guard in my opinion, and I think that I have Dennis Smith going there, just because.
That's not good. That I don't.
I'm
sorry.
Terrible fit in my opinion.
I just think that
he's not going to go. He's not going to go best fit. He's not going to go best talent. He's going to go best fit. He's already talking about coming back out of the front office to be more involved to help with, because like for Phil Jackson, the triangle isn't an offensive game. It's it's a freaking way of life.
And what's up, buddy?
I mean, like that's who I would go with. I mean, that I agree with you. That's the best player on the board. You know,
I agree.
But I can't. The best fit I think is probably Frank. I mean, that's the guy who I'm going to go with. I'm sorry, but that's just
No, I mean, I totally understand why you would say that it's a bad pick. I just
not necessarily a bad pick. I'm sorry. I don't want to say that it's a bad pick. It's a great pick. It's an awesome pick.
You're happy with Dennis Smith. You're very happy with yesterday.
It's I cannot see Phil walking away with Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, I know. It's tough for me to say it too, but I just think that if there's some kind of hope that they're building for the future and that they're gonna like try to move on from the triangle, I think that'd be Dennis Smith. I think I'm probably grasping at straws here, but I think that I'm probably just trying to appease Knicks fans because I know that they really want Dennis Smith as well if he fell this far down, but I don't know. I saw some hope that they're looking to maybe play the upside play more than the fit play, but it's probably unlikely. So yeah, go ahead, guys. Tell me why Frank Ntilikina is going to be the pick.
I was going to say Frank, to be honest. I was going to say Malik Monk, but I don't want to have all three. Have three different players. And also, I really, really want this pick to be Luke Kennard or Justin Jackson. That would just make me the happiest person on draft night.
Man, I would laugh.
But I think fit wise, I'm with Clayton. I think of the two, I think Frank is probably the best triangle fit. I still think they go with a guard who can shoot like a Monk or a Kennard, but I'll go with Frank. You can talk about Frank, Clayton.
I think he's going to be a really, really good defender, and he's going to be able to space the floor. I don't know if he's necessarily a true one. Probably more combo-y than anything, and I honestly would like to see him more as like a two that can play make.
Mm-hmm.
But fits, I think, best for the triangle for Phil. I know
Yeah.
I get the Monk thing because he can spread the floor, but again, I don't think he really fits the triangle. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, I if if I was Minnesota and Isaac is off the board, the guy that I would take is Frank because or I mean even at 6 or 5, I mean I have Frank really high.
Right.
So yeah, I think he's 6'6" with a 7 foot at least wingspan. There's a report the other day that it's 7'1". I think he'll be able in time to defend 1, 2s, and 3s. I know, like all of a sudden he's down at 14, and if he falls to 14, that would be one of the I'd be calling Miami. Like, who do you want?
Even with D'Angelo and Lonzo?
Yeah. I mean, off the bench, like rotating 3, especially with how Luke is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play the other 34 minutes a game. That still leaves a little over 20 for him.
And if you want to get really weird, you can throw Frank in.
Yeah, I mean, well, Lonzo's 6'7", Frank is 6'5", 6'6", D'Angelo 6'5".
Man, imagine a lineup of.
I mean, like, is it likely? And would they probably go with a guy with like OG instead? Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
I just really, I mean, I have Frank at like 6'7", somewhere around there on my board, and if you can get a guy at 14 that you have that high on your board, that would be something that you move up for. But for the Knicks, I think it just makes the most sense. He's the best triangle fit at this point, in my opinion.
All right, so moving on to pick number 9, the Dallas Mavericks. They don't really have the true core piece. They don't really have an unmovable piece, so I think that they're just probably going to look most upside.
They just got the SJ, and they're very, very happy, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got arguably the second best talent, according to some people. I know Merge believes that.
Mm-hmm.
So to get that kind of talent at number 9 is something else. But Clayton, tell me why Rick Carlisle is going to be such a great fit for Dennis Smith.
Him and point guards is a dream.
He's going to make Dennis Smith incredible.
Yeah. And how you said that they don't really have any other core pieces, I disagree. They have at least one. You guys can imagine who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Harrison Barnes, right? Seth.
No.
Not Seth, really?
No.
Who did they trade for?
Nerlens.
Why did we not guess? Why did that not come to mind?
Because I guess he's technically not in the roster.
No, Merge. We let him down. Sorry.
His poor effort, guys.
God, I'm sorry. Not our best day.
No, but to get back to Dennis Smith, he's a 3-level scorer who will be able to take over games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's not particularly long. Cole on the last podcast said that his wingspan is 6'5" instead of 6'3", like DX has. Very athletic, and he's still recovering from the ACL tear. So that's as a guy that I have my top 5 as well.
Yeah,
getting him at 9 with Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle's going to be hard on him.
Yes. That's really
hard.
That's really in the long run.
I think it's just like the clear pick, though. He makes just way too much sense.
Yeah, and if I'm Dennis, I'm like I want to go here. Like, this is the best place possible for me. Just because, like you said, the Carlisle is just incredible with point guards. He will hold him accountable. He's going to make him work. And if Dennis actually works, he is a very, very scary prospect, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, Merch. Keep professing your love for Dennis Smith.
I mean, yeah, I'm the most biased on Dennis Smith. He's been one of my favorite prospects for ever since his junior year of high school. But I really think that if he can end up in Dallas, then he is going to be a star.
Yeah, I think it's tough to predict otherwise if he ends up in Dallas. The only problem there would be since Rick Kyle's really going to get on how does Dennis Smith exactly respond to that kind of treatment, and yeah, from everything that we've heard, he's not exactly a terrible kid. But I think that there certainly are some questions and reasons to be at least dubious about the pairing there. But I think that if he does respond well, you're looking at a really good player, like Clayton said, a legitimate three-level scorer that I think Sam Vecini has a couple questions about the shot. I think I'm also there. I don't fully buy him being as good of a shooter like he was at NC State, but if he's anything near that, then I think that we're looking at a really good player on offense. And then on defense, I think Rick Carlisle's shown his effect on defensive players, and having Nerlens Noel is going to help with the issue of rim protecting. So I think because Nerlens Noel can rim protect from everywhere, from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly going to help Dennis Smith, especially in the short term. I think in the long term, a player like Noel will be less and less necessary. But I think for now, he'll help him in rotations and stuff like that. I think that Smith has so much potential to offer on defense if he really locks in and harnesses on those quick twitch abilities that he has. And yeah, I think I'm really into the Dennis Smith pairing in Dallas.
Yeah.
So moving on now to number 10. This pick is going to be another interesting one. Sacramento. They have two top 10 picks, which is good for them. They already drafted De'Aaron Fox, so they have their point guard of the future, and they also have Buddy Hield. And it appears that they're set at the power forward and the center position as of this moment. I don't think that's going to stop them from looking at a big, but I think that Scarlett Basier and Willie Cauley-Stein are two pieces that look to be more for the future. So I think that the only spot that they're really missing is a spot forward. And Merge, who do you have them taking at 10?
I think I have them taking Malik Monk. I think the Fox Monk
let's get really crazy.
Hey, I don't.
No. I agree. Like at this point, he's the best talent available.
Yeah.
Like get all sorts of crazy.
Yeah, I think that Vivek is one to believe in, like someone being being really good at being better than they are. Even though I'm higher on Monk than I know Clayton is. I think Nelson, you're almost about where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I have him around 6 or 7 on my board, but I just think that potentially pairing Fox and Monk again, having that chemistry already is really going to be nice to have. Just starting their first year, and I think, and even if Buddy ends up being better than him, he can still be an awesome 6-man, and which might end up being his role in the NBA. But I think he's just so advanced with his shot making ability, and being able to just off screens, just scoring with a man in his face, scoring off the dribble, scoring off, with just like the toughest shots. I just think that Monk is the best player here, and I think he's just the potentially pairing Fox and Monk again would be a nice thing to have.
I wanna put something out there really quick. Buddy Hield in Sacramento and New Orleans played a combined 27% of his minutes at small forward.
Oh my God! What? I didn't know.
So yeah, he played 1,888 minutes overall. That comes out to how many per game? It was 23 minutes per game. Okay, so
let's get really weird, man. Let's get really.
I mean, that's that you do De'Aaron Fox with the pick and roll, dribble penetration, kick out to Malik Monk and Buddy Hield run of the wing,
and potentially Scal too, maybe.
And Scal, and I mean, and then Scal should be able to be a good weak side defender.
With Trill,
with Willie Cauley-Stein. I know this is like a very unorthodox pick.
Yeah.
like they could obviously go with a guy like Zach Collins. I don't necessarily like. I don't have Donovan Mitchell ahead of Malik Monk.
Mm.
Like I think a name that could be there, well, that will be there, and it would be a very Kings thing to do. Would be Justin Jackson.
Oh, if I can say Laurie.
No. If Laurie's there, I think they take him too, which I would just crack up at. But yeah, I think Justin Jackson could be a guy that they really look at, but for just how this has kind of gone, I think Monk just kind of makes the most sense, not necessarily fit wise, but because of just talent, just going best player available.
Kind of a Wojbom right now, but for now, LA resisting salary dumps on Mozgov or Deng, need to clear future space. Teams trying to snag pick / young player to absorb deals.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving up anything of real value for that right now. Like none of the number twos.
Oh,
You're not getting any of the number twos. Like I would, for like Mozgov, I was able to, like, I think what you should look at is like to not get too far is like what you should do is you should look at taking on another shorter bad contract.
Yeah,
that's like a year or two less, but the team just is worn thin on the guy, and just trying to see if you can do something like that. Maybe if you have to give up 28 for it, obviously, then you do that. But yeah, no, any like I'm not any of the number twos. I'm not doing it.
right.
Okay, so back to Nelson.
Merge.
You were at 10.
Merge was actually going to pick
For the Hornets?
no for the Kings. He didn't.
I said
Monk.
I was the first guy that said Monk.
Oh, I probably just got caught up in the rumor then. So yeah, I think I am also going to go Monk. Both of you guys took him, so I think so. Why not make this unanimous? And I don't think that they would probably take a big here just because they already have Scal and they already have
Papagiannis.
Papagiannis as well. Future All-Star Papagiannis. That's
real quick to go over our top 10. We've got Fultz, Ball, Tatum, Isaac, Fox, Jackson, Laurie, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., and Monk. Yep, for anyone that's watching or listening.
Mm-hmm. Now moving on to pick number 11, the Charlotte Hornets.
This is a weird one for me.
Yeah, this is gonna be really awkward.
I think it can be one of three players. Either Collins, Mitchell, or Kennard. I think I don't know if they want to go another big white guy. Because they already have Frank.
Sam Vecini talked about that. They have Frank and Cody Zeller.
Yeah, I don't know if they really want to do that. So I think if I were them, I would go Donovan Mitchell. Who's their two right now? Is it Nick Batum? Is he playing there too?
It's Batum / Michael Kidd Gilchrist. They're interchangeable.
And who are their guards off the bench? Like Ramon Sessions and someone else or something like that.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the show.
Yeah, I think I'd go Donovan Mitchell. I think Steve Clifford's a guy that really likes defense, and I think Donovan Mitchell, with his giant wingspan, will be a guy who can be able to come in immediately and be a good defender. He's learning, or he's like developing point guard skills right now, and I think he's really good in the pick and roll. He's underrated in the pick and roll. I personally have him, I think, 9th on my board. I'm higher on him than some are. I think he could be a steal, honestly. I'm not saying he can be a star, but I think he could be like a Norm Powell type player, but maybe a bit more potential. I just really like his pick and roll ability. He's a good passer. He's a good defender. He's athletic. The jumper has potential. It's not there yet completely, but I think it has potential to develop. I just think that they need more playmakers, and I think Donovan Mitchell can be that playmaker for them.
Clayton?
I really want to lean Kennard here, just for the giggles. I don't see Collins just because, as Merge said, taking another white guy, tall white guy. I think someone would get angry about that. I mean, it is North Carolina though, so
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's why I have Kennard going there. But
yeah. So I think just because Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is not a shooter, I think I'm gonna go Kennard.
That makes sense.
Nelson.
yeah, I'm gonna go Kennard as well. I just think that the floor spacing with Kennard, and he can run pick and rolls. He ran really efficiently in college. Obviously, it's gonna regress a little bit to in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I still trust that he'll be able to get that he'll still be able to have some success creating for others. Not necessarily excellent, but still good enough. And I think that the floor spacing again is what I point to. And having Michael Gilchrist, that you need all the floor spacing that you can get. So Kennard for me as well.
All right, so we'll go Kennard there. Pistons at number 12. I like one of the picks that is becoming popular there, or was popular until apparently he was rising upwards, was Zach Collins.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But honestly, I think Donovan Mitchell's just the best pick for right there.
Yeah,
you guys.
They need more playmaking, but I have a feeling they're getting rid of Jackson and Drummond in the offseason. And I would think they'd just go best player available, which it's tough because I'm really close on Mitchell and Collins. I think I have Collins 10 and like Mitchell 9 or something like that. So I think I am gonna agree with you and go Mitchell.
I'm gonna not agree with you guys, and as much as I really want to, I think I'm gonna go with Collins just because I have him as my 8 or 9 player, and I think that getting him at 12 would be a really good value in my opinion, and I have Mitchell a bit lower just because I have a couple questions about his jump shot and his handling ability, even though he was pretty good at Louisville. I think his length and his defensive potential is certainly there. And I think that he's going to be a really good role player. I just don't view him really as a starter. I think that he's more of a super role player.
Yeah.
But I think he has, if he develops his offensive game enough, I think he certainly has the defensive chops to be a starting 2 guard.
Yeah.
But I just like Zach Collins. If you're really going to trade away Drummond and Jackson, then I think Collins is a really good piece.
They're not trading either of those guys. not on those contracts.
I think they at least try. They've
been trying for months. They're not. It's just not going to happen.
They just seem like they really want to just go off scratch. Hold on, sorry. I think they want to just blow it up, kind of.
Yeah, and I think that if the dude decides to go down that path, I think that everything that we've heard so far is like they want to do that kind of thing. So I think that rebuilding with Zach Collins as your 5, I think that's a really, really good starting place. I think it's probably a slightly better starting place just because of the upside compared to a guy like Mitchell, in my opinion. But,
I just chose Mitchell because I have Mitchell higher on my board, so I understand going with Collins.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys real quick a few numbers. Okay. 22, 23.7, 25.4, 27, 28.7.
That is my boy Andre Drummond's next 4 or 5 years, isn't it?
Yep. You take away the first one, 22, because that was this year. So then you got the 23.7, 25.4, 27, and 28.7. That is over $100 million in contract. And if you're also trying to get rid of Reggie, you're looking at 16 million flat, 17 million, and 18 million.
Man.
So then you're looking at dumping 39. You're looking at dumping 42, and you're looking at dumping 45 million for those combined years. While it would be great to get those contracts off the books, because Drummond was not good this year, despite what that really show. If anyone thinks that Drummond was good this year, that just shows that all they know is his name.
Yeah.
He was not very good this year. Yeah. Good luck trying to find homes for those guys. Not necessarily that like Drummond isn't a guy that you couldn't like buy low on, but just that type of salary, that's not something easy to fit into draft or onto a salary cap for really anyone. So I've been trying to think of who could do it, and I haven't really thought of anyone, especially with bigs just saturated in the market. And Reggie Jackson being maybe a bottom 5 point guard at this point, just because he can't shoot. And he just
bottom 5 seems kind of harsh.
I mean, he doesn't really defend. He doesn't really shoot. Like, I know people are probably higher on him than I am, but like he's an injury concern now. So plus, again, you're looking at 60 million, 17 million, and 18 million that you're gonna have to pay to him.
Yeah, so, it's tough.
Yeah, it'll be tough. But and I certainly think that Mitchell would probably help the team more right off the bat just because of his defense. But now moving on to the 13th pick.
This is such a hard pick right here. Yeah,
this one's pretty tough because of their needs, and the players that are left don't really meet that kind of need. So with Donovan Mitchell going number 12, the Denver Nuggets are now on the clock. Who will they take, Clayton?
I guess he should go best talent on the board and go Zach Collins. And they traded away Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
The idea that Collins can kind of stretch the floor, can maybe defend the rim. I mean, I think it would be an interesting, fun duo. He can play 4 or 5 because he's got quick enough feet. Honestly, I think Nuggets are trading up for someone. I don't know who it's going to be. I think that they're going to target a guy like Isaac, but I think they're trading up. I've been saying that now for weeks.
They really need a 3-4.
Yeah.
Because I think Danilo's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Wilson is just old.
Well, Wilson Chandler is.
Like Wilson Chandler is a really good player on a.
Wilson Chandler is 30 years old. He still was really good last year.
Yeah.
Problem is he requested a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you just kind of, I guess, go best talent available here, and I think that's Collins.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm gonna have to lean, just because it's just really tough to really project anyone else going to them. I mean, they could reach out to Terrence Ferguson, but I think
at this point that's a very high reach.
Yeah, that's a crazy reach.
Yeah,
I could see an OG reach, maybe.
I just think that they probably just go best player available, and I think that Collins is considered a really good center by most people, and they were really impressed with the NCAA run that he had. So I think I'll probably go Collins on this one.
Yeah, someone I would watch out for, though, even though I wouldn't pick him here, would be Justin Jackson. I mean, he's a 3-4, and
I had him in a mock there. I think was it that who I had there?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have a fun time with that one.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I definitely see the Collins reasoning. I mean, you can try out Jokic and Collins together. You know, if it doesn't work, you can trade high on Collins. If it does work, then you have a nice little Twin Towers duo right there. But I wouldn't rule out possibility of someone like Justin Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably an option too as well, which is crazy. So moving on to the Miami Heat. So Frank Ntilikina will not be there as projected by Draft Express. So they're not going to have that kind of talent there, but there certainly is still some pretty good talent available. So, Merge, who do you have them taking at 14?
Man, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. They have like no fours.
Mm-hmm.
I know who you're going with, and I'm gonna laugh.
Oh my god, I'm trying to decide between John Collins and Justin Jackson right now. But I think I'm gonna go John Collins, to be honest. I don't have the fit. I mean, maybe Hassan can completely just blanket his defensive woes, and Collins can just get buckets. But I don't know, man. That's so. I mean, what they'll probably do in the future, especially if they re-sign James Johnson, they'll just start Johnson at the 4, or they'll start Winslow at the 4.
I don't think Winslow can play the small ball 4 in the NBA. He's only 6'5". I mean, he's just really. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4 depths right now, which is Luke Babbitt, Udonis Haslem, Coral White, Josh McRoberts, and then obviously Chris Bosh isn't on the team anymore.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's gonna probably be like a Collins or a Justin Jackson. I'm just, oh man, I would love it to just be Collins, just to laugh at this, because he doesn't play defense, and like he's got no range, so, and he's got no length. So yeah, great. I mean, I'll put that as the pick, and I'll just continue to laugh at that.
Yeah, I'll stay with Collins.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go Collins too, just because it's pretty funny to imagine the Miami Heat taking a really bad player. I mean, all he does well is just really go to the basket, finish around the rim, and he's a pretty good rebounder.
He as the comp that I've heard for him is a much thinner or slight of frame Kenneth Faried. Like,
oh
I don't like comps, but when I heard that, I was just like, yeah, that's yeah. I know, like people love Faried's PER and like how he is really efficient at the rim, just because really all he can do is just dunk and do putbacks. But yeah, like, oh man, that would the lack of spacing there would just be really funny. So, unlike Justin Jackson would probably be a good option there, just because he can provide some sort of spacing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably who they go with. At least the great thing about John Collins is that he's a sophomore and he's just barely older than Lonzo Ball.
Yeah. He's a young sophomore.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on after that pick, which I personally think it's a really bad pick.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Blazers, they have number 15. They have 2 first-round picks in this draft, so they probably won't make all the picks. But assuming they will, who are they going to take Clayton?
I'm
like choosing between 2 players right now.
I mean, I guess you could go with 5. And really, they can attack all levels with all 3 picks.
Yeah.
You know? They don't even really need any more wings.
No.
So they need a wing that can play offense and defense at the same time, because their guys can play one or the other.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is do you go with a skilled big man of like Patton, or do you go with like Jarrett Allen? And yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, I don't think they're making the pick. I think they're going to attach like 2 of these picks to salaries to try and dump people.
That would be smart.
I guess just for the sake of this, looking at their cap, you got Crab, Turner, Harkless, Aminu.
Evan Turner.
That's 4 guys that are going to play the wing. You don't really need another one. I guess I would just go highest upside and go with Jarrett Allen at this point.
Yeah.
I am also going Jared Allen at this point. Awesome hair, by the way. Another player with awesome hair.
Really? You've never mentioned that before.
Yeah, I know. I've never mentioned that before, but breaking news: Jared Allen has awesome hair. That afro is just awesome. I currently saw the sports science video, and his hair was just frolicking, just awesome. But yeah, I mean, they would begin a defensive five, guy who has some pick and pop potential, rolls pretty well, has some issues in space defending, but I have a little bit of hope that he can improve that somewhat. So I think I like the pick there, especially for a team that has CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard as their two leading guards. So
yeah. If they only had like one pick in this range, I would actually think they would go with someone like Ike, just off of pure upside alone. But since they have the 20th pick, I think they would go with Jared Allen as well. Just best player available kind of at this point. They don't really need someone like Justin Jackson. So yeah, I just stick with Allen for the same reasons you said.
all right, so moving on to the number 16 pick, the Chicago Bulls, which
It kind of only has to be.
It has to be one player.
Yeah, one guy.
Merge. So, who are you taking if you are Chicago?
Well, I think.
Who was Chicago take? My bad. Excuse me.
I think they go with Justin Jackson just because he's still there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard. I think they like him too. I've heard some rumors that they really like him at 16.
It doesn't surprise me at all that they like him.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he doesn't really help out Jimmy Butler that much. He's he's in a crazy spacing guy. I do like him as a guy like off the bench. A guy who can give good rotation minutes. Like I don't think he's completely useless. He's a good passer for his position. He is a decent defender, and he just. I mean, I know he just figured it out this year after 4 years at UNC, but
right.
To shoot. But if he can do that, that would be nice.
It would be nice.
It would be nice if he can shoot, especially if Jimmy Butler's still there. But yeah, I think they just go Justin Jackson and write it out. They love their older national player of the year candidates. So
yeah,
Justin Jackson.
I mean, he's probably going to be projected as a decent defender in the NBA. Not anyone's going to blow your socks off. Not anyone that's going to be bad.
Yeah,
just decent in my opinion. And I think that hopefully he develops into more than an okay shooter, which is what I project him as also. So yeah, I just view him as an okay math player that really can't create for himself and is pretty much going to be relegated to shooting and defending, which he's okay at both of those things. And that's kind of not what you want at this point in the draft. But that's probably who they're going to take because, of course, they love their older players.
Yeah, I kind of like him more as a fit for the Bucks, but I think the Bulls draft him.
Yeah, the Bulls will draft him. Clayton, any disagreements here?
No, it's definitely Justin Jackson. The only other guy I could possibly see just for me, he's another just Bulls guy is Justin Patton. I think that's just for some reason I don't know why.
I can see that.
That said, I do wonder. There was a rumor. I don't remember who said it. Was the crazy three-way of the Bulls, Celtics, and Sixers?
Yeah,
where the Bulls took Jahlil Okafor.
I need Jahlil in Chicago. Come on, man.
Oh man, like I would so die and I would laugh so hard. Like that is a Bulls. That is a Bulls pick. So, I mean, it's Justin Jackson, but like, I think if for some reason he were to go higher, it could be like Justin Patton or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're definitely going to take a guy that has Justin in their name. According to Clayton, Clayton has sources that are reported.
Sources.
So, yeah.
Hold on, wait. So are you hearing this, or is this a report?
Yeah, Clayton, are you
the Okafor thing?
No, the Justin Jackson. How they love the Justin Patton and Justin Jackson.
Are you just hearing this, or
well, I've seen that they like Jackson. But
so you're hearing this.
I don't think you picked up the joke, Clayton.
Oh no, I'm I got distracted on here.
Clayton's probably watching.
Hashtag on here.
Yeah.
Hashtag on here.
So with the next team, one of the most fun young teams in the NBA, the Bucks, who last year took Thon Maker, who we all thought was an insane reach, and has turned out to be a pretty good pick now. Not anything that's going to blow your socks off. Not a superstar. Not better than Brandon Ingram, but still, a pretty good pick.
I think he's a rotation pick.
Yeah, he'll be a good player.
Yeah. So they have number 17. Clayton, who do you think that they're going to take?
They need like
they need all
their point guards.
They need all the shooting.
Or ball handling.
Yeah, they. You know, a guy who they really could use, and at this point, no one else besides Sam Vecini has him in this range. A guy that like could handle the ball really well would be like a Jawan Evans.
Oh,
but I still think that's too high for him. But yeah, I'm looking at like they've got another year of Spencer Hawes. I mean, who knows? You guys are higher on Jabari than I am, but he's injured again. They'll probably re-sign Tony Snell. Rashad Vaughn can't shoot.
No, man, that's crazy. Man, he was like a really good shooter coming in.
Actually, I don't think he was a good shooter at all coming in.
Really? I thought he was supposed to be like a good catch and shoot guy.
No, he couldn't shoot at UNLV. But like I want to just go out of the box because it is the Bucks.
Yeah, and I have a guy who being out of the box one that I thought I was gonna say Derek White of Colorado.
I like that. He'd be like they get this year's Malcolm Brogdon again.
Yeah, with Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, with Malcolm Brogdon.
That would be a fun lineup of White, Brogdon, Middleton, Giannis, and Thon. Nice a lineup that could. That can run. That's pretty fast. That's athletic. Who can switch?
Yeah, you know what? I'll go right there with you, and I'll go Derek White as well.
Yeah, I definitely expect the Bucks to reach on this one.
Yeah, Daniel mentions that they have a new GM. But at the same time, I think Jason Kidd has had a lot of influence on stuff like that.
Yeah, he was a guy that had a lot of a big opinion on Thon. So
yeah, I still think. I mean, if they like really wanted to, I mean, they like just lotto pick. It could be like a EK, but at this point with Thon, like you'd have two young bigs. So
they can go really fun and pick OG and then just run a Brogdon, Middleton, OG, Giannis, Thon lineup, which would be fun.
Yeah, I mean the spacing would be questionable, but yeah, I think I like that. I'll go with Derek White as well.
Yeah, Lawson.
Well, I guess my opinion doesn't matter anymore, so that's kind of cool. But I mean, I don't think anyone really cares about what I have to say at this point. But
did I just say Nelson? What do you have?
Thanks for asking, Clayton. So I want Derek White because I think that he can space the floor as well, and I think that he provides the most shooting value at this point.
Yeah.
Apart from like a Tyler Lydon, who's another floor spacer, but I don't know how I feel about Lydon going this high, and I'm not particularly high on Lydon.
I'd laugh a lot.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah, and I'm someone who's grown a lot on White, and I think that he's going to be a good player and definitely going to be the next Malcolm Brogdon. So yeah, I'm excited for what he has to bring to the table. So yeah, Derek White.
There's a few potential Brogdons in this draft.
Yeah.
Owundu, Hart.
Owundu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the Bucks do, especially because they like to go with their high upside fun picks. So
yeah. So the team that will not have Paul George on the roster next year, the Indiana Pacers. They have pick number 19. and they don't really have. Huh?
Got pick 18.
Yeah, pick 18. Yeah, they pick 18, and they don't have a true core piece apart from Miles Turner and Paul George, but it appears that he's not gonna stay with the Indiana Pacers, so he's probably gonna get traded. But yes, the Pacers. It'll be interesting to see where they go exactly with this pick. Um, it appears that they're most likely going to rebuild. So I think they're going to want someone with some high upside. And in my opinion, I think the pick is going to be OG because I think that he is the high upside play here.
Yeah.
Just because his value is, if healthy, is really at that top 10 range. And to get him this low is it's a bit risky. It's a bit telling about the medicals, but I still think that it's a pick that's worth it. I think that he provides a really good defensive value, in my opinion, and he has room to improve, a lot of room to improve on offense, and it's questionable whether he will ever become something on offense. I still have hope just because the measurables are there, and there's some kind of a shot hidden there somewhere. So if he ever figures that out, then they're looking at a really scary player at that point. But yeah, even if they don't, that's a really good piece to pair with Miles Turner, and those two on defense. It's going to be really fun to watch. So, Clayton, who do you think that they're going to take?
I think OG would be obviously a really good option. I guess that's probably just the best option at that point. Think they would probably were hoping for like a. I mean, I don't know. All I've seen a lot lately is them getting fives.
Yeah.
So like a Jared Allen, a Bam on a bio. I saw EK before he took a quick drop. I mean, a guy that could move up would be DJ Wilson. I think that'd be too high for him.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna stick. All I've seen lately for them is a 5. So I guess I'll go Bam with them.
Okay.
I mean that's kind of like. I mean, for some reason that's the one area that they're going. I mean, maybe like a Draft Express isn't factoring that in, but I mean, if they're moving Paul George, I'm assuming that they're probably going to be trying to get wings anyways. So
yeah.
So I mean, I guess might as well just stick if you're thinking best player available. I mean, even though I have OG higher, yeah, I'll just stick with that one. They're weird. Like they essentially sold their pick last year for Matt Young, which is.
That was the Karis LeVert, which they would probably really like to have right now, especially with rebuilding.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just go with Bam because they're just weird. I don't ever know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm gonna go OG. I'm with Nelson on it. So
Bam, let's go.
All right, so Hawks at 19.
I think Ike. Ike or Bam. I think they might want to have someone actually. Not Ike. I think they go Bam build wise, so they might want to have him learn from Dwight. So I think Bam. Any type of upside play.
I'd probably take Justin Patton at this point. I think that seems like a Hawks kind of player. Really skilled on offense. Has a lot of work to do on defense, and you wonder how well he'll develop there. I don't think things will develop all that well, in my opinion. But he has some skills offered on offense, and I think the Hawks are probably looking at a replacement at the 5 spot. And even though Ike provides a lot of defensive upside, I think Patton's probably a first round talent. I think that this is where I see the cutoff for him, or at least this is where I start to seriously consider Patton. I think he goes here. So yeah.
I'll go Patton as well. I think they're probably going to lose Mike Muscala.
Yeah.
And they're probably looking for some type of skilled big. While I think think EK would be great to learn behind Dwight. I also don't think Dwight is a guy that I would really want anyone to learn behind. So, yeah.
He has to teach him how to handle all the child support.
Merge. That's wow.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, and you were right, Merge. Vaughn, I remember had the questions of he could shoot, but for some reason in his 1 year he was able to hit 38% from three on 6.3 attempts a game. But there was always the question of if he was actually going to be able to keep that up.
Yeah.
So, anyways, number 20, another Blazers draft pick.
Man, this is getting tough. I think I'm gonna go DJ Wilson on this one. They're really just like they have nothing at the four. I mean, no Von Laser starting four right now. They start Aminu or sometimes as well. DJ Wilson could, I can potentially see him working with Nurk a little bit. He can stretch the floor out a little bit. He has defensive potential, good switching potential. I don't know if he goes as high, but that's what I would do if I were them. Pick up someone like him. So DJ Wilson.
Yeah, I think I'll also go with DJ Wilson here. I think that he provides enough versatility off the bench for him to play the 3/4, which is maybe in the 5. I think that'll be quite interesting. I think that in the modern NBA, you want those kind of guys, and even though they have plenty of wings, I think that Wilson can also play some 5, so that's kind of intriguing there. But yeah, I mean, as a 4, I really like his. I kind of like that fit in Portland. Another guy that can guard switches and can that don't get taken advantage of in switches. So
yeah,
Clayton.
So I actually dislike that pick a lot.
Dang.
One, I think it's too high for him.
Okay.
And we just took Jarrett Allen for them, so they have plenty of guys that play small ball for a thing that, and again, a guy that I probably usually wouldn't take this high, but if you watch a lot of times if Dame and McCollum are like in foul trouble or it's a long game, and they don't what's the word I'm looking for? If they don't,
Is that a loss of words?
If they don't stagger the lineups properly, then they're like their backup point guard was Shabazz Napier. So I think really a player that they would look at and a high upside, especially like a high upside backup. And if you are looking in a couple of years to possibly move one of Dame or
I know what you're gonna say.
CJ, I think it really, really would be their best interest to because behind those two they don't have anything.
No, it's really Shabazz and then Crab.
Yeah, and Crab's not a ball handler though.
He's a spot up shooter.
I think I'm gonna before Clayton announces the name, I'm gonna support him and I'm gonna change my pick just because I think Clayton's on something. So go ahead, Clayton. Tell me who you're gonna pick
I think Jawan Evans is the pick.
Yeah,
for them. It just kind of stupid autoplay videos because I'm looking at the roster. Lillard, Crab, Turner can handle the ball, but
he's also.
If I'm them, I'm looking to dump him. Myers, Leonard, not a ball handler. Maurice, Harkless. He's a good straight line driver.
Yeah.
Not really a ball handler. Momenu's not a ball handler. Ed Davis is there. So McCollum, Vonleh, Joseph Nurkic. So then it goes Shabazz, Pat Connaughton, Jake Layman, and Tim Portman. I think it's got to be some type of ball handler. And while you may think that he could be there at their 26th pick that they have, I think that I would rather take him at 20 and possibly just do a stash at 26. Because you got the Thunder coming up, you've got the Nets coming up, you've got the Raptors really don't need him, the Jazz don't really need him, but the Magic could use him as well. So 3 teams in that range that could really be interested in him. I think that would be a good pick.
Yeah, I think if he's still there, I think they go Derek White as well. He can be an option. I think he might actually be a better one than Juwan for what they.
Oh yeah, no, I agree as well.
No, I know. But yeah, I'm with you on Juwan. Actually, I like the fit with him the backup point guard. I'm quite high on Juwan. I think I have him in my top 25. So
yeah, you have him a lot higher than I do. So it's funny that I brought him up a couple different times.
Yeah. So I definitely like the fit with Juwan.
So just move Evans to 20 then.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, you guys keep talking about the Thunder. I will be back in just a couple minutes. All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
So for the Thunder, I was gonna say Ike. They need a ball handler, but there's no one available there.
Yeah.
At 21, they really need someone who can come off the bench, and just take something off of Russ.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they reach on a Frank Jackson or a Owundu or Hart, which I can maybe see, but I think they're really hoping for a Evans or a White or maybe even a Kennard, even though he won't drop that far, but they just need another playmaker, and there's no one close, so I think they just go with best player available, and they just roll with Ike, who could be really fun with Russ.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the argument for Ike there. I just, I'm pretty high on, or I'm not pretty high on, but I think I like the fit with Terrence Ferguson, and I think that's kind of fire that they're looking at. That he could turn out to be a really valuable piece. He should theoretically be able to shoot. Hopefully, that translates better in the NBA than it did in Europe, since he wasn't really all that productive there. His defense as well was not great. His analytics in general were just really bad. I think that's why he's starting to slide a lot. Now that teams are really trying to invest heavily in these analytics, so that's kind of why you see him slide. But yeah, I mean, I certainly see the argument for Ike there. I just think that with Cantor there and with Sabonis and with Steven Adams, I think Ike would be a really valuable backup. But I just don't see enough creation there, and I think that Terrence Ferguson could create a little bit more, in my opinion, and take off some of that stress off Russ. That could, also open the floor for him. Theoretically, of course.
Yeah.
His archetype is one that would go much higher if he was much more productive, but he wasn't really all that productive. But I think that he certainly would help the Oklahoma City Thunder a lot. Clayton, who would be your pick at 20?
I like the idea of Ike in theory. I heard Merge say that, but the problem is with Adams there, he plays a lot of minutes, and Cantor there. Plus, you got to think that they're going to try and keep on Taj Gibson.
Yeah, you're right.
They're gonna try to. I don't know how successful they'll be at that.
He's gonna get a lot of money, I feel like, Taj.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that they keep his bird rights.
Yeah.
So they can go over the cap for him. I think they'll probably try and dump Cantor this summer somehow, maybe using this pick, but. They like win now guys. A couple of years ago, I remember they drafted Josh Hustis, a guy I know a lot of analytics people have him a lot higher. Would be Josh Hart. I think that he keeps that ball creation that Nelson was saying that Terrence Ferguson would bring. But
theoretically, of course.
Theoretically, Josh Hart, I think, is a better ball handler now.
Definitely.
He's a good shooter. Maybe not ever great, but he's a good shooter. He's a good defender.
He's just an all-around solid player.
Yeah, he's a very solid player. As we were saying at the very beginning, will there be more wings drafted or bigs drafted? And I think it'll definitely be you'll start seeing a run of wings, even if if Draft Express has them lower. I think this is the range that you're going to start seeing or even instead of like a Ferguson, like a Frank Jackson, who's
Yeah.
like a real point guard. But I mean, he's more of a two in my opinion. But like he's had experience with that. I think this is going to be one that unless someone else switches, like I think this is definitely a guy that they're going to look at like Hart because they think that just because they have Russell Westbrook that they're actual contenders, so they might as well go with the senior who's going to help them now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know what to put down for that.
I guess I'm not gonna change my opinion on Ferguson, but I guess Merge. I don't know if you're willing to.
I said Ige. But now that you said Cantor and Adams, and they'll probably sign Taj Gibson as well. But
And Sabonis, of course.
And I forgot about Sabonis. Then forget my EK pick. I think I said Hart as a possible guy. I can definitely see Hart as a senior that can just help create for us either when he's off the court or when he's on the court. So I'll go with Josh Hart then.
All right, I will put Hart. That and like I think would surprise quite a few people that just look at Draft Express and not look at like the analytics and scouting of other people. Like I know Cole Zwicker or guest last on the little podcast two podcasts ago.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he has Hart a lot higher than a lot of people. So I think that it's just a really good fit. And if they'd rather go the upside, I do agree with Nelson. I think a Ferguson type thing would be good, but just remembering that Josh Hustis and remember they also took Campaign and he was a junior when he was drafted, maybe an older sophomore or whatever. So I think they need when Westbrook's off the court, like they have to try and like create with Oladipo, and he's not really that.
He's more of a spot up shooter now.
Yeah. So I mean, he can handle a little bit, but you just want guys that can handle some. So I think that's why I think a guy like Hart would just make.
This is another spot where if Evans or White are available, I think they go with one of those two over Hart or Ferguson. Maybe not Ferguson, but I think Evans and White they'd rather have just because they're a lot better with creation for themselves. So,
okay. So number 22, the Brooklyn Nets. I'm gonna just say right here, right now, Harry Giles.
Harry Giles.
One of the two will for sure be Harry Giles. I can guarantee that.
I think they'd rather just get him now.
Yeah, they get him at 22.
That's 22. 23, the Raptors.
They need a 4, right? I mean,
I think a guy that he's getting lots of helium right now. I think it's Wilson.
Wilson, yeah, I agree. They have Ibaka, but who's their backup for? Siakam?
Yeah, they took him, but he's not really a guy that's going to stretch the floor. They have Patrick Patterson, but he's a free agent, and
someone's going to pay him. I think.
Someone's going to pay him. So I can look real quick who else they have on their cap sheet, but that's been their Achilles heel. Was someone at the floor.
And they're gonna be paying Serge a lot of money in the offseason too. So
this also is going to be a very interesting pick. If Kyle Lowry does leave, I could honestly see them go total rebuild and try and move Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah.
Autoplay things. And they could try and look to move a couple of the bigger. Also, I think they're gonna try and keep PJ Tucker as well.
Yeah.
So
I think only if they keep Lowry though.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna try and somehow dump Carroll on someone. I don't know how they're gonna exactly do that.
Maybe this is part of it.
Yeah.
The pick could be part of Jonas or a Carroll dump. So.
Yeah. So, do we all agree for now, Wilson?
Yeah, I think Wilson's probably the
All right. 24, the Jazz.
The Jazz are a team I think could trade both their picks. What do they need the most? I think they need either a guard or a 4 the most. I mean, maybe with how good their defense is, I could see a Tyler Lydon. Maybe
That's if they've given up on Trey Lyles.
yeah, that too. I forgot about Trey. Maybe like a TJ Leaf. I could have seen if he didn't unfortunately have that heart condition. I could have seen a Gene at this range.
You think John?
John, my bad. John at this range. Maybe, I mean, this is another if they've given up on Lyle's guy, but Shemi Ojale, it's really tough for them. Let me look up their depth chart real fast. But I think
You want the Jazz? I'll pull up the cap sheet as well. Their cap is going to be really crazy because right now, currently, they're going
Hill and Hayward are free agents too.
Yeah, they're going to be almost $40 million underneath the cap. But
and they're gonna give Gordon a 30 mil contract.
Sorry.
I have a feeling they might dump Derek Favors.
Yep, they've got next year. Hayward is, like we said, a free agent. They got Favors, Joe Johnson, Alec Burks, who was really bad this year. George Hill, Boris Diaw is unguaranteed. I could see them waiving that. He wasn't very good this year. Dante Exum still. Shelby Mack, Trey Lyles, Joe Ingles has a qualifying offer. He's a restricted free agent. They can match anything. Obviously, they have Gobert, Rodney Hood. Raul Neto has an unguaranteed, and
they list Hayward as a 2. I thought Hayward was a 3.
He's pretty interchangeable with Rodney Hood or whoever else they plan alongside.
Man, I think if I had to choose, I think they go Lydon, honestly.
Nelson.
Yeah, I think it's definitely to really go with Lydon there, who's projected at 24, especially when they have Lyles. It's really tough for me to find a fit, honestly. But I think that if they're trying to get a high upside center, I think that a guy like Tony Bradley makes some sense to develop behind Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I can see it.
For EK.
Oh my God, EK is still on the board. EK still.
Yeah,
forget. I mean, that would be
EK.
Scratch Lydon. It's EK.
I mean, the question with EK, there is there a question? No, because they don't really have any other centers.
Withey's their backup, and you can just let walk.
He's a free agent too, and Diaw is a free agent or unguaranteed, so they probably let him walk.
Yeah, you can definitely let Anambogu learn behind Gobert, which could be scary.
I honestly think they probably would rather go someone that can stretch the floor. Not that I don't like the EK one, and I'll put it down, but I honestly don't think that would be a guy that they really look at because they played Gobert a ton. I think they want to just keep being able to stretch the floor. But
right. I can see that, but I think it's at this point at 24, I think it's more of like a this upside guy. I mean, if he's still there.
Yeah, no, I get that. A guy that I think that you should also not discount is they like their French bigs or their European bigs, and you've got a guy on Shetnich.
Yep.
People like him a lot. I don't, but that could be a guy that they look at.
Yeah.
Just go with another monster big.
Right.
Okay, so EK at 24. I don't really know. I guess Lydon would kind of work there. I guess.
Yeah.
You got the theory of Trey Lyles. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Orlando Magic.
They already have Josh Jackson, right?
They got Josh Jackson, and we're very happy with that.
Okay, so they still have Peyton, they still have Fournier.
Payne doesn't really do anything to me.
Jackson will be the 3. You have Aaron at the 4, and you have probably Bismack at the 5.
Yeah.
I think at this point they just roll a dice on Terrence Ferguson.
Yep.
I know they still have Terrence Ross, but I think he's a guy that you can just let walk, or you can just trade for whatever out of trade deadline and get like a 2nd-round pick for him.
I think Ross is. I mean, while he's not a great player, he's also not a bad player, and he's actually developed into like a decent rotation pick. I hate auto play. I'm gonna keep saying that over and over again. Looking at their cap, if there was a point guard in this range, that would be who I.
There very well could be. I mean, again.
I mean, if Evans is there or Derek White is there,
they snatched one of those guys up for sure.
I'm actually going to go against the grain on this. They have him at 35 on Draft Express, and I'm going to go with Frank Jackson. I think they're going to go with him because they need another ball handler and a guy like him, and I think that they're going to move at least one of these picks. They've got 4 picks in this draft. And I think that they'll want to move one of them. So I'm going to go Frank Jackson. But you guys,
that's a fine pick. I'll stay with Ferguson though.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, I'm kind of going back and forth. I just think that Ferguson has more first-time helium than Frank Jackson has this one.
I'd actually flip that. I've seen more people having Ferguson drop, and I've seen people say like Toronto taking Jackson.
I mean, I certainly see that.
I've seen a lot more helium for him, and I've seen a ton of lead for Ferguson. So I mean, I'm not gonna change your guys' mind, but I'm gonna say like. There's a reason why he's now fallen to 28 because he continues to fall. So, and then we have thankfully, the final Blazers pick, and I'm going to say that they're going to take some type of
stash.
I don't think they even have the roster space for all these guys. So, the problem is like the really the only guy that. In this range, that is a stash kind of guy is Pesetnich. But he's already 21 and a half, and apparently he doesn't want to be stashed.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go against that, and I'm going to say Hartenstein because why not?
Because why not? Yeah, whatever. I'm almost convinced that they'll trade one of these 3 picks. So
I bet that they try and use 2 of these picks to dump people. Like
they don't need some of these guys, especially in the range that they're in.
I could see them try and use 15 to move like Evan Turner. Like, will it work? I don't know, but like, in one of my like analytics DMs on Twitter, they like Evan Turner to the Knicks and with 15, and they just send over a guy like Who's the 3-4 that they got?
Lance Thomas?
Yeah. So like a Lance Thomas for Evan Turner and 15. They've brought that up, and I kind of like that idea. The Knicks would probably like another pick, and again, Evan Turner fits with the triangle, and Phil has liked Turner in the past. So but yeah, I think this is probably like a Hartenstein pick. I mean, I don't know anyone else further down that they could just stash overseas.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm looking. I mean, maybe they could do like a Matthias Lasort.
Yeah,
but he's almost 22 already. I don't see him wanting to do that. A guy that coming off of injury that they could just sit behind would be Edmund Sumner, another point guard, but they just took Evans a little while ago. So
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with Hartenstein.
Yeah, I'll stick with that too.
Yeah, I think another name that I thought of is Motley, who got injured. I think
Molly can be a guy.
he's also another guy that they could look to stash as well and wait for him to recover. But yeah, I think it's just tough.
He would be more of like their two-way contract guy because
Yeah.
he's not really I can't see him volunteering to go over to Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
But he could be an interesting guy to kind of like replace Ed Davis.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I kind of actually like that, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think they're going to move at least two. They're going to try and at least move two of these picks.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So second Nets pick. This is a tough one actually because Ferguson's gone already. I would have had him if he was still there for them. I'm actually going to go with a guy that's been getting a lot of buzz the past few days. I'm going to go Jordan Bolden.
You're going to do that.
He's the highest upside guy there. I feel like he's been getting a lot of helium recently. I'm going to say Jordan Bolden. They need all the potential guys that they can get. So I will stick with Jordan Bolden.
I will go one pick higher, and I will go Terrence Ferguson.
Ferguson's gone already.
We already did first.
Oh yeah, he has gone. So yeah, I think then I'll go Bolden. Another guy who's been getting some late season helium. Jonathan Charles just wrote a piece on why he thinks that he's a possible lottery talent hidden in the mist, which I don't know how I feel about that exactly. But he certainly does have some upside to him, and I think that's sort of a Nets pick where you try to get it to hit. And yeah, I mean, I really don't see another one of those like high lottery type guys that if they pan out right, that they'll really turn out to be really good. Apart from Tony Bradley, but I just view
they already have Giles too.
Yeah, so I view Giles as more of a 5, so I think I'll go with Bolden as well.
Yeah,
I'm looking up the Brooklyn Nets cap and depth chart. They have Brooke for next year. They've got Jeremy Lin, Andrew Nicholson, KJ McDaniels, Justin Hamilton, Harris, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, Isaiah Whitehead. I think. Yeah,
someone else I could see them going with is Frank Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but they've got. I mean, I think they could try and finally dump Brook Lopez for a first-round draft pick to someone. I don't know if anyone wants to give it to him, but
and I don't know if they should do that too. I think they should just go upside instead of trading Brook.
No, honest. I'm not saying to attach a first round. I'm saying them acquire another.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'll go Bolden there too. I'm not particularly. I need to watch more on him, but I know a few weeks ago there was questions of possible issues while he was at UCLA on and off the court, and Vecini had a conversation with like Jerry Kavokian on Twitter about Bolden like 2 years ago when he was at UCLA, and they were all high on him there.
Yeah.
But there's been considerable tarnishing to him. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the
Bolden
guy.
All right, and now we're at the pick that is going to be very interesting come draft day. I'll start it off. I think Clayton Ray knows where I'm going to go with this. I'm going Jordan Bell. I don't know. I think he can be a very, very good. I think he can take over that Tarek role. He can be the pick and roll big. He has good hands. He can pass the ball well, especially for a big man. Super athletic, great rim protector, great on switches. If he was 6'10" with like a 7'3" wingspan, he would be a top 15 pick, probably a lottery pick, maybe even top 10 pick. Honestly, he's that skilled defensively, and he has some offensive upside there. It's just only thing holding him back is his measurement, and I still think that he can overcome the measurement and just be a very effective small ball 5 for the Lakers. So,
yeah, this is gonna be a tough pick for me. But I will go with the guy that Clayton got up first, out of all of us in the podcast, and that is gonna be Tony Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what his measurables are and what his potential is. I think that the Lakers also was kind of sort of reported that the Lakers gave him a first round guarantee. So I think that this is where the Lakers head, in my opinion. I think I'd probably lean more towards Bell, but I think that the Lakers probably go Bradley here.
Mm-hmm.
Clayton?
I'll probably go with you, Nelson, of Bradley. Not necessarily because of the guarantee, or I mean, probably more just along the lines because of the guarantee that reportedly is out there. But actually, I think a guy that I would probably like to bring in more than either of those guys is Wesley Owundu.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about Owundu too. I'm a big Owundu fan. So
yeah. 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan.
Yeah.
Can do a
really
lot
good
of
ball skills.
can do a lot of everything. He's got a smaller frame than you'd like, but I don't want Bell. I'm pretty adamant about that now. I know that like I've been preaching defense for a long time. Problem is I just don't think he's long enough, and when he doesn't have the time to get up, load up to get blocks and everything like that, I just don't think the reach is going to be there. So like how Draft Express has had him in the second round all this time, I totally agree with that. I love the defense. I just don't think it translates just because of the lack of length. And my concern with Bradley is he's incredibly long. He's got good speed. The open court, he had, I think it was like a 1.42 points per possession on the DX transition on his DX video. But I worry about his ability on the perimeter, and I don't like if you could mold or like mix together Bell and Bradley, like you're looking at like a top 10 pick. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean I'll go Bradley. I probably wouldn't be very upset with it, but at the same time, like, yeah, this is a point where I would have been like, well, I would have much rather trade up for EK or OG or even like a Ferguson just to provide spacing.
DJ Wilson, something like that. Yeah,
DJ Wilson as well. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I hope the rumors are true and that the Lakers are trying to get another first round draft pick on top of what they have. I don't want them actually using 28 unless they're going to use like one of the seconds to call it on trade to move up. But I guess I'll go with Bradley.
There it is.
All right.
Number 29, San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, they're totally going to get Bell and make him awesome. That's 100% what I can see happening. Bell or Hart is what I think happens.
I'm gonna go with Ivan Rabb. I'm gonna go with DX's projection. I think that he still goes in the first round, and I think that the Spurs turn him into a productive player. I mean, he was a good rebounder last year, and he showed some potential finishing off the pick and roll. Not much defensively, sadly, but yeah, he's a pretty high motor player, so I think that'll probably appease the Spurs somewhat. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that pick or.
I'm gonna say options. I'm gonna say Hart there. I think they need some more guard depth. I know they have DeJounte and they have potentially Patty Mills and Troy Parker's still on contract, but I can see them trading him. Even if they are going after someone like Chris Paul, I think having DeJounte and Hart be the 1-2 backing up, and having Simmons at the 3, or Simmons might get paid actually. He probably will, but. Hart just seemed like such a Spurs player, the guy who's solid everywhere. So I'm gonna go with Hart.
Well, since Hart's not available, I think that the clear guy would be Owundu for me.
Oh wait, where'd Hart go?
We took Hart with the Thunder's pick.
Oh,
so
yeah. Then Owundu. If he's still there.
You want Owundu over Bell?
I think they draft Owundu over Bell. If I were the Spurs, I would go with Bell. But I think Owundu makes more sense for the Spurs to draft. He seems like a very Spurs player to draft. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with you as well. And the final pick and our last pick of the night. Thank you to everyone that has stuck through, and I've seen that the live chat has been absolutely insane all night. A guy that actually has not been named, and I'm not really surprised because I don't think he's a first round draft pick. But for the Jazz, I think they double down on the big guys, and this is where they go like Leaf.
TJ. Oh, I forgot about TJ Leaf. Yeah, I definitely think that TJ does go higher though. But I tend to go TJ there.
Yeah, I think TJ is a first round player at this point. Yeah, for some upside, some little upside. He's mostly just a high motor player that competes on the defensive end, competes on the boards. Doesn't have some kind of spacing potential. Isn't really gonna post up or finish around the rim all that well, just because he isn't incredibly long or anything. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like it here.
I can maybe see Bell there as well, but I forgot about TJ altogether. So
Oh yeah, let's just give him Bell and Gobert. That's fine.
Well, EK
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
I haven't given EKs though.
All the
defensive.
all the defense.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for us. Thank you all for staying on. Nelson, do you have anything coming out?
Of course I do. I have the All Hair team, which should publish pretty soon once I actually start working on it. And after the draft, I will start. I will continue my series of Lonzo Ball pieces, breaking down his whole game since he's going to be the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
And Merge has some news.
Oh, lucky you!
I do. I will have a mock draft out soon. And also, should we announce Wednesday's?
No.
Yes, we should keep it secret.
No, we will keep that secret.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just know that we have something working in the lab for Wednesday.
And Thursday we will be live podding the draft, so look forward to that as well.
So if you're tired of hearing our voices, please do not watch.
Listen to us, and
That's going to be such a long mock draft. I don't think we're going to be able to do the entire
second round.
The entire first round. Jeez.
We gotta wait till the Lakers pick. There's no way.
I mean, you can always, have a 28th pick, but
We can always take a break. We don't need
Yeah.
to. We don't need to go all.
yeah,
all
we can have like a review at like 20 or something. All right. Anyways, I also have a couple things still in the works.
But he's busy. So
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening. If you weren't able to catch us on YouTube, go ahead and catch us on SoundCloud and iTunes. Rate and review, please. Don't give Nelson another negative review. Okay.
Shout out to the guy who gave us 2 stars because
we want to make Nelson happy. Okay. I give him a lot of crap, but he deserves better than 2 stars. Now, I, on the other hand, I'm totally fine you giving me 2 stars. So, but please, if you have a negative review, just write crap about us, but still give us a 5-star review. All right.
Shout out to Jonathan for giving us our first 5-star.
Yeah. Jonathan of Lakers Legacy Pulse. Thank you guys for watching.
Lakers Legacy Pulse. Wow.
Legacy. It's 12:47 at night or in the morning, whatever.
This is my afternoon. This
Lakers
is
Legacy.
Lakers Legacy Podcast.
God,
Sorry,
I just gave a better plug.
Friend of the show, Jonathan. Right?
Yeah, friend of the show.
Whatever. Also, catch the
Catch out.
Catch me outside.
Just shut your mouth. Catch the podcast with Cole Zwicker. That was a great one. If only we had recorded the conversations afterwards, that would have actually been.
That might have been the best part about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So, all right.
We will have him on again.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, definitely. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night.
Peace.